spiritual awakening gives you the possibility, beyond doubt, of supreme happiness, a kind of happiness that is there and not dependent on anything that happens outside of us. And so we lose attachment to friends, foes, we lose attachment to what everybody else is doing, we lose attachment to even how others are treating us, because none of these things compare to the process where it's taking us and those moments of supreme bliss, supreme happiness that we experience. Of course, when you're going through the process, you will have these bouts of maybe sudden anger, sudden mood swings, maybe you feel hard done by, maybe you feel somebody has crossed your boundaries. But those moments or those little bouts, tempted to say setbacks, but I'm not going to say setbacks because they are very much a part and parcel of this process. It's important for us to have those moments, for us to know how we're doing, how we're evolving, where we are headed. When we do have these little bouts, these bouts don't stay that long. So you won't have anger festering inside of you for, say, longer than a few seconds or moments or anything. Your reactivity will literally be nullified, and you'll get to a point where you are in neutral gear most of the time. And so when it comes to relationships, friendships, and other people, yes, you will see through and through everything that is happening because of your heightened sensitivity, and you'll feel it, right? But you won't make it your business to either go and repair or salvage or save other people, or to be saved, or to make whatever is happening with everyone else about us when we start to take those things very, very personally. When we move from taking life and things that happen in terms of people, relationships, personally, when we move from taking it personally to a neutral personal or to an impersonal personal, these things cease to affect us. They cease to have the kind of power they did. And they cease to have that kind of power, quite simply because we no longer have that attachment to I'm this body, I'm these emotions, I'm these feelings, I'm these thoughts, I'm this experience, because you're experiencing something beyond the body consciousness, right? And with that, the lighter you become, the more blissful you become, the lighter you become, the happier you are, the closer you are to experiencing this kind of supreme bliss. There's no codependency on anything outside of you to provide you with anything, because of the fact that your needs have been met. But during the process itself, it doesn't feel like that, because during the process you'll feel more triggered, you'll feel more wired and more like, how could this happen? And one of the things that happens during a spiritual awakening process is that you may have flashbacks of how you were and how people were able to crawl under your skin, or take advantage of you, maybe, where people crossed your boundaries. There'll be so many scenarios, and that in itself, you might look back at yourself and say, well, really, was I really that person, right? Did all those things really happen, right? And the miracle of the spiritual awakening is that you view your suffering as being the most awesome thing that ever happened, because it is literally through the madness of this suffering that we can unravel this supreme bliss, supreme consciousness, supreme happiness that is there, that comes because that extreme suffering, that extreme level of stress causes something else inside of us to wake up. The missing equation, the missing factor, it literally comes in and says, well, hello, I'm here too, you know. And when that comes in, you know, it literally is a big bang, and everything blossoms, blooms, flowers, and everything you see and perceive is completely different. So practically in a day-to-day life, what does it mean for us? When we have, say for example, you have friends who are not being as integrous, who are not being as authentic, right? The one thing here is you must remember that not everyone will have that level of clarity, authenticity, integrity, showing up, or presence in their own lives, let alone your own relationship with them, right? You have come this far and this is your path, but not everyone else will have walked that same path or have signed up to gaining this kind of freedom or experiences. Secondly, it is not up to us to go and salvage or save other people. Now, during our awakening, we will either be tempted to say, oh, well, you know what? They are still in their 3D consciousness and they're still there, you know, but I am here now and so I can see and I'm so higher and holier than thou. But actually, not really, because it's not that we are any better or any worse, or they are just going through their evolution as we are still going through our evolution. But the mere fact that we tuned into that, right? We've still got to go back to the drawing board and say, well, hang on, what is this saying to me? Why am I still tuning into this? Right? Am I tuning into this because maybe I overshare, I overgave, I have extended myself so much, I'm so open, I'm so kind, I'm so loving, la 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 la, and people just walk all over me, they take advantage of me. Am I still that same person again? Right? Now, during your spiritual awakening process, one thing you'll realize is you were whole to begin with, you're whole now, and you'll always be whole. It's simply a matter of perspective and perception. So, the person that you are right now, right, needs nothing, no amendment. You are the big deal right now, right? And so, it's not what you are lacking or that I'm this or I'm that, and you know, but it's their story and this is your story. It's when we try to make someone else's story our story, then we know that there is something about us that is an unmet need in us. So you've got to retrace it and say, okay, how am I making that about me? They reacted in this way, they said this. Why am I reacting to that? Why am I feeling like this? Is my stomach churning a little bit, and why is this bringing all these things up? And during the spiritual awakening process, emotions are all over the place, right? We are a big bundle of feelings, right? And not all of us, but some of us will be quite detached, some of us will be numb, some of us won't feel any of these things, and some of us will be a big bundle of, I can, you know, set off any minute now. And because we are so sensitive, but it is in realizing that it's not about us. When we take our power back and we come back to spiritual autonomy. Stay tuned in for second part. Take care.